Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Shabbat shalom and welcome. So nice to see such a lovely group here in the sanctuary, and to those of you who are worshiping with us from home, we're happy to have you join us also. I feel so lucky tonight that I have these 4 amazing students to lead services with me. We're missing 3, but we're very, very glad that they're here, and they're going to have very important parts in this service. So welcome to Amelia and Hannah and Oliver and Elliot and Ava and Ariel and other Ava. We're sorry that you can't be with us tonight, but we're thinking of you, and we know that you're with us in spirit. We'll continue on page 3, so moving back a bit. O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness and peace. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us, as their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light. So may we in our own day be among those who kindle light. All right, let's come together to light the candles. Do you want to light the candle? Okay. I heard it. Go ahead, try again. There you go. Please join us. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. We'll continue on page 6. We enter this sanctuary to welcome Shabbat. Within these walls, we sit surrounded by numberless generations. Our ancestors built the synagogue as a visible sign of God's presence in their midst. Throughout our long history and our endless wanderings, it has endured. A beacon of truth, love, and justice for all humanity. Its presence guided our ancestors to lives of righteousness, holding up to them a vision of their truest selves. Please join me. Now we, in our turn, come into this sanctuary to affirm the sacredness of our lives. May we enter this place in peace. May holiness wrap around us as we cross its threshold. Weariness, doubt, the flaws within our human hearts, the harshness of the weak, let these drop away at the door. In the brightness of Shabbat, let peace settle upon us as we lift our hearts in prayer. And turning to page 8. I begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. God needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics and no services, but I need them. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, my capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. To love God is to love each other. To work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world God created, and to work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illumine all of us, and to bring that vision to life. And turning to page 13. Okay, and then the English words for this song are way back on page 344. So if you'd like to also put your finger there when we get to that part, although they're pretty easy. Shiru Adonai, Shir Hadash, Shiru Adonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Adonai, Shir Hadash, Shiru Adonai, Kol Haaretz. I'm back on 344. Sing unto God all the earth a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God and we'll all sing along. All the earth a new song unto God. Shir Hadash, Shir Hadash, Shiru Adonai, Kol Haaretz. And this brings us to Lachado D, which begins on page 20. And we're happy to have some guests and visitors tonight, so I will just tell you, we sing the first two verses in Hebrew, and then we stand to actually look like we're welcoming the Sabbath bride. So we turn to the back of the door as if a bride was going to be coming down the aisle and sing the last verse, which you'll find on page 21. Lecha dodi lekrat kala, panei Shabbat nekabala. 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 Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, Hishmeyanu laham yachad, Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, l'shem uvteret v'taliti la. Lecha dodi, Lecha dodi lekrat kala, panei Shabbat nekabala. Lecha dodi lekrat kala, panei Shabbat nekabala. Lekrat Shabbat lechu vel necha, ki himichor habraha, merosh mekedem nesucha, sof maaseh b'mashevati la. Lecha dodi lekrat kala, panei Shabbat nekabala. Lecha dodi lekrat kala, panei Shabbat nekabala. Boi v'shalom ater bala, Gam zincha utzohola, tochemune am skula, boi chala. Lecha dodi lekrat kala, panei Shabbat nekabala. Lecha dodi lekrat kala, panei Shabbat nekabala. And you may be seated. We'll continue on page 24 as we welcome the Shabbat angels. I have to think of which verse I'm going to do without Cindy. Shalom Aleichem. No, let's do our regular one. Somebody get me started. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet. Thank you. Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Boahem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Barhuni l'shalom, Malachei. You're doing the Hanzikah. Mi melech malachei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Sechem shalom malachei hashalom malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Peace be to you, O ministering angels, messengers of the Most High, Majesty of majesties, Holy One of blessing. And I'd love to invite Ariel up to recite the Hatzi Kaddish for us. You can, yeah.
Yitzgada halva, yitzgada shemei rabba. Biam hadivrach ertev yam lich malchutei b'chayechonu v'yamechon uv'kayedecho beit Yisrael bagala bagala uv'izman kariv v'imru amen Yehi shmei rabba mevorach Li'olam olam me'omaya Yitzbarach Yitzbarach v'yishtrabach V'yitpa'ar v'yitramaham v'yinaseh V'yitzadar v'yitzaleh v'yitzalal Shemeda kudasha brichu Le'elan min kol v'chata v'shirata Tushbechata v'ne'amata Zahamiram Vyama Vimaru Amen.
Beautiful, Ariella. Thank you. Okay. And this brings us to the Baruch Hu, which you'll find on page 28. Where's my Jacob? This is where I need your help. Can you open the ark for us? Okay, and Hannah, why don't you come and help him with the curtain once we get here. Open the doors nice and wide. Can you do, yeah, you do the curtain. I will, I'll be happy to. Please rise. And you'll find it on page 28. Okay, Amelia, Oliver, and Elliot.
You need help?
You want to help us? Okay. I'll show you a little trick. So if you kind of push it. Okay, you want to hold that while we're doing this? Okay. Okay. So remember, thank you, Hannah. So we bend, and we say, Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorak. No, we repeat what they say. Baruch Adonai Hamvorak Leolam Vayet. Okay, now we close the curtain. Thank you. Be seated. Praise Adonai, to whom praise is due forever. Praise be Adonai, to whom praise is due, now and forever. Okay. Turning to page 31. Please read with me at the top of the page. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai Hama'ariv Aravim. And continuing on the next page, page 32. Okay, at the bottom of the page, please read with me also. Everlasting love, you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Hohev Omo Yisrael. Okay. And this brings us to the Shema, which is on page 34. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vayed. And Ariella, can I call you again to do the Via Hafta? I was going to read it in English, but I'm sure we would all love to hear you chant it in Hebrew.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, וחיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך, וכשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, וחיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
Continuing on page 39. Okay, let's do this responsively, please. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth.
The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love.
From bondage in Egypt, we were delivered at Sinai. We bound ourselves to your way.
Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces.
Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed.
Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea.
And we will continue with Vishamru on page 44. Please rise. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Lasod et ha-Shabbat, ladoretam barito lam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat. Lasod et ha-Shabbat, ladoretam barito lam. Beni v'Yisrael, ohit leolam, ohit leolam, ohit leolam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat. Lasod et ha-Shabbat, ladoretam barito lam. Uhi Asa Adonai, Asa Adonai, et ha-shamayim v'yet haaretz vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat. Lasod et ha-Shabbat, ladoretam barito lam. Uvayom ha-shevi, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat. Lasod et ha-Shabbat, ladoretam barito lam. And if you would continue standing, this brings us to our standing prayer, the Amidah. We will start with our intention on page 46, and then this is your opportunity to read the words that are in the Siddur in English or Hebrew. Say the words that are in your heart. Feel free to be seated when you're finished with your prayer, and we'll join together on page 62. Okay, so we all come together again. Okay, we're gonna. I'll do this part in Hebrew, and then you can do this part. Adonai Sefer Tiftak Ufi Yagita Hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. This week's Torah portion is Tazriah from Leviticus, which means bearing seed. The highlights are God describes the rituals of purification for a woman after childbirth, and God sets forth the methods for diagnosing and treating a variety of skin diseases, including leprosy, as well as those for purifying clothing. Tonight, because it's a family service, we're going to take a small kernel of that Torah portion and the meaning, and then these precious children are going to share some things that they've been learning in Sunday school, starting with a fun poem about being sick. So Amelia, you're up first. And then we'll just kind of all stand here and get ready to read your parts. Hannah.
Sick by Shel Silverstein. I cannot go to school today, said little Piggy Ann McKay. I have the measles and the mumps. I have a rash, and purple bumps. My mouth is wet and my throat is dry. I'm going blind in my right eye.
My tonsils are as big as rocks. I've counted 16 chicken pox. And there's one more. That's 17. And don't you think my face looks green? My leg is cut. My eyes are blue. It might be instamatic flu.
I cough and sneeze and gasp and choke. I'm sure that my left leg is broke. My hip hurts when I move my chin. My belly button's caving in. My back is wrenched. My ankles sprained. My appendix pains each time it rains.
My nose is cold. My toes are numb. I have silver in my thumbs. My neck is stiff. My voice is weak. I hardly whisper when I speak. My tongue is filling up my mouth. I think my hair is falling out.
My elbow's bent, my spine ain't straight. My temperature is 108. My brain is shrunk, I cannot hear. There is a hole inside my ear. I have a hangnail, and my heart is, what? What's that? What's that you say? You say today is Saturday? Goodbye, I'm going out to play. Gemilut Hasadim literally means the giving of loving kindness. It is an important value in everyday lives of Jewish people. It is a mitzvah that completes acts of Gemilu Hasadim, or loving kindness, without expecting something in return. Rabbis teach us that it is important to do acts of Gemilut Hasadim often.
Examples of Gemilut Hasadim: comforting someone who is sad, giving clothes to the poor, feeding the hungry, welcoming guests, strangers, and refugees, treating people with kindness, being kind to animals, honoring the elderly, and visiting the sick.
At last month's really close. At last month's family service, we talked about welcoming guests and strangers and refugees. Tonight, we want to tell you all about taking care of the sick and honoring the elderly.
In December, we made our sun catchers and lamp blankets and delivered them to the residents of Danish Care and Ingleside Assisted Living here in Tastadero.
And Ariel and Ava can't be with us tonight, but in honor of them, they would have shared their pictures. When someone is sick, I can draw a picture for them, Or when someone is sick, I can visit them.
The Talmud teaches us that Gemilut Hasidim is more important than tzedakah or charity. Tzedakah is usually given to the poor, but Gemilut Hasidim can be given to the rich and the poor. Charity can be given only to the living, but Gemilut Hasidim can be given to the living or the dead by attending a memorial service honoring someone who has died. Tzedakah is usually offered with money, but acts of loving kindness can be given through money or assistance.
When a person is sick, we wish them refuah shlema, which literally means a complete healing, but it can mean get well soon. Reciting public prayers for healing has become popular in synagogues. Soon we will sing the Mishaberach. We say the names of people who are sick, sad, and we say the prayer as a community, hoping they will feel better soon. Around the world, the earliest Bichor Halalim society in record dates back to the 1400s. Our congregation has a committee that calls people when they are sick or sad or recovering from a surgery to check on them. Sometimes we visit and take a meal or do errands. We've learned about Gemilut Hasidim. Doing acts of loving kindness is not hard, and it's important mitzvah. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. We say Yasher Koach. Good job. Thank you. So this brings us to our words of healing with the Mishaberach, which you will find on page 253 in your Siddur. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless these members of our community. Robin Cohen, David Hayes, Diana Heller, Rob Hirsch, Panina Kolakant, Barbara Kurtzman, Kit Levine, Sharon Maslow, Rick Moss, Dave Podolsky, Margaret Schmidt, Elliot Schwartz, Cheryl Schelleb, John Sitters, Melanie Spielman, John Wheaton, and Ava Margalit. And as I pass my hand in front of you, please feel free to say the names of somebody that you'd like us to hold in our prayers tonight. Marlene, is there anybody? Mike, anybody that you'd like us to say? Edsels? Send them all comfort and relief speedily in our days, and grant them a complete healing of body, mind, and spirit. Blessed are you, source of life, who helps us bring light where there is darkness and healing where there is brokenness. And you'll find the words to the Mishaberach in the middle of the page. Please join me. Mishaberach Avotenu Mehor HaBraha Le'imotenu. May the source Jackie Ramsdell up to share a few announcements with us.
Do I need to use this? It's really sad that I don't need it much taller than the kids, isn't it? Good evening, everyone, and Shabbat Shalom. Well done, young ones. Thank you, and thank you, Leslie, for coordinating everything tonight. Thank you. All right, let's start with birthdays. This week we have Irv Shellub and Camille Hamilton. Happy birthday. And no anniversaries, so quick one on that. The April newsletter went out today. Thank you, Mindy. It is chock full of events and activities. We have a very busy month, but just a couple of highlights I'll point out. We have Cantor Shira coming back April 22nd and 23rd, so you won't want to miss that. And we have our Yom HaShoah event on the 28th. Thank you all for helping me with my memory. So we don't want to miss that one as well. That's here at 7 o'clock, I believe. And lots of other things happening this month and other services and things. So please check your newsletter when you have a chance to check your email. And Shabbat Shalom.
This brings us to the Aleinu, which begins on page 282. Thank you. I'm sorry. Better? Thank you. Thank you for the reminder. Please rise. Aleinu leshaberek ladon hakol, latet gedula letzer breshit, shelo asanu haratzot, velo samanu kemishpachot adama, shelo sam halkenu chahem, vegor aleinu kehol hamonam, Vanaknu korim, umishtahavim, umodim, lifne melech, malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. The top of page 284. Shehu note shamayim ve'yoser haaretz, umoshe karo b'shamayim imol, ushinat huzo, Ushinat huzo, Romim, U Eloheinu, Einod, Emet Malkeinu, Efesulato, Kakatuv Betorato, Veyad Hayom, Vehashevota, Elevavecha, Ki Adonai hu helim b'shamayim imal ve'al haaretz mitachat einod. And the middle of page 287. V'nermar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad. Ushemo, echad. And you may be seated. Jacob, are you ready to help me close? Okay. Okay, you do this one, and Hannah will help you with that one. Watch your fingers. Watch fingers. Okay, good thinking. We'll put it in later. Okay, watch fingers. Go ahead about the same time. Thank you. Good job. I'm on page 295. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. May their memories be for a blessing. This Shabbat, we remember Harold Gold, father of Arlene McDonald, Miriam Green, aunt of Judith Bernstein, Rahel Margalit, grandmother of Nachshon Margalit. And we take into our hearts all those who have no one to say Kaddish for them. Is there anybody else observing a yort site tonight? Okay. Arlene, Oliver, and Elliot would love to help you if you'd like to come up and light the candle for your dad. Rick, could you move the chair? Thank you. Do you want to go? Okay, put it right here, then you don't have to go quite as far. Okay. Please rise and you'll find the Mourner's Kaddish on page 294. Yikadal, V'yikadash, Shemei Rabbah, V'alma Divrach Hirute, V'almik Malhute, V'hayehon Uvyomehon, Uvhaye Dekol Bet Yisrael, V'agala Uvizman Kariv V'maru Amen. Yehe Shmei Rabbah Mevarak, Leolam Almei Almaya. Yitbarak, V'yishtabak, V'yitdabar, V'yitnaman, V'yitnaseh. V'yit Hadar, V'yit Taleh, V'yit Halal, Shemei de Kudashah, Brihu. Leola, Kol Birhata, V'shirata, Tush V'hata, V'nehamata, Da Miram, V'yalma, V'ymaru, Amen. Yehesh Lama Rabba Min Shemaya, V'hayim Aleinu V'achol Yisrael, V'ymaru, Amen. Oseh Shalom B'mramav, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Aleinu V'akol Yisrael, V'yamaru, Amen. And you may be seated. And we'll conclude tonight on page 61. Please read with me at the top of the page. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamavar et amo Yisrael b'shalom. Shabbat shalom. And have a good week.